Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Paul Prabhu and Vetri Prabhu. Hare Krishna and good morning, everyone. So, as we always do every day morning for 15 minutes, few minutes, we read from this, the Nectarean Ocean of the Holy Name by Satchidananda Swami. And we are on the third section called Nama Aparadha, where the 10 offenses has been discussed here. We are on the seventh offense. We'll be finishing it today. The first offense, to recollect, is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Two, to consider the names of the demigods like Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Three, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Four, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in the pursuance of Vedic version. Five, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination or exaggeration. Six, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. And seven, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. So in this section, we saw there are three stages of papam or sins committed. That is through ignorance. Number two, to desire to commit sins. And three, sinful acts in itself. And there are intentional sins that we commit, or there are unintentional sins that we commit. Both are sins anyway. And chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra destroys all the anarthas um, that we saw yesterday. Now, anyone who's committed sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, how to rectify that? So, here is a solution that is given in this book by His Holiness Satchidananda Swami. I'm going to read this and we can open up for discussion. How can the seventh offense be rectified? If anyone has this book, this is on page number 73. If by some error this offense is committed, one must cleanse oneself in the assembly of pure Vaishnavas. Sinful desires are like thieves on the street of bhakti, and the pure Vaishnavas are the guardians of the street. One should therefore call out the name of his guardian, the spiritual master, Jai Srila Prabhupada. For when the guardian appears, the thieves runs away. Since the Lord personally confirms to me to be our guardian, one can chant Krishna's name as well. In this way, one should always be vigilant, never feeling too safe in his position as a Vaishnava who chants Hare Krishna. Especially on our level, we should always avoid bad association. Next paragraph. What about devotees who repent and come back to spiritual life after committed sins? That's a question. So, since they consult the assembly of pure Vaishnavas, they take up the above mentioned process and can be re-established in their spiritual life. Especially if they take shelter with a spiritual master, the sinful thieves of bhakti will run away. Devotees who return, however, have generally committed unintentional sins due to weakness of their heart. Those who deliberately commit severe sins designed to hurt devotees rarely come back to the spiritual path. So, one more time. Devotees who return, however, have generally committed unintentional sins due to weakness of their heart, whereas those who deliberately commit severe sins desiring to hurt devotees rarely come back to the spiritual path. Lord Vishnu personally places obstacles onto the path of those who offended devotees, Vaishnavas. And this is interesting and important to note. Lord Vishnu personally places obstacles onto the path of those who offend Vaishnavas. So it's a serious matter. Krishna himself wants to takes in charge and gives obstacles for those who are trying to practice Krishna consciousness or devotees after offending devotees intentionally. Last paragraph. Let us summarize. Whereas the all merciful Lord is prepared to forgive the unintentional blunder of devotees, He does not tolerate if someone commits premeditated sins, calculating to be excused by the chanting of the holy name. That ends the seventh offense. Quite an interesting and important thing to remember, how we have to be very careful to not make intentional sins. Unintentionally, Krishna will forgive. Intentionally, then we have to suffer for it. And Krishna himself will personally come. Come means not in front of us, personally taking charge of giving obstacles on the path of those offenders of Vaishnavas. So let's be very careful in our dealing to not make any planned, intentional offense to devotees. You call some devotees to home. I'm just giving an example. You just call devotees to a home, and then when the devotee comes home, then you don't even take care of the devotees. You invite the devotee home, but then you start doing something else or attending something else. That's also an offense. So we got to be careful. And then you invite someone to in a public place, and publicly you start speaking about that person bad. you know so these are all intentional things. We have to be very careful. Or planning somehow to put someone down from their spiritual position. These are all very bad, unintentional. Therefore, we have to be careful to not make premeditated sins. I'll pause here and see if there is any discussions on this topic or any other Krishna conscious topic. Thanks. I see Amala Radhika Mataji joining here. Thank you for joining. Hari Puja Mataji from India. Again, thank you. Saumya has been joining. Manjira Mataji has been joining for 2-3 days now. It's really nice to see Bhupal Prabhu. Thank you. And everyone else constantly joining here. So thank you to everyone. Vetri, oh, forgot about Vetri. Vetri, please. Thank you. Continue to join everyone, please. All
Hare
right.
Krishna.
Any questions, discussion, sharing?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Neeraj.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, I have one question not related to the offense, but in general, in regards to like Krishna consciousness. The question, like sometimes when we discuss in general, some of the friend ask, oh, after seeing the Bhagavad Gita, says that, oh, you are a Hindu and this is a Hindi book, Indian book. So how we can just try to explain in a nice way and in a way at least to the point that they could also get attracted to Krishna consciousness? Like specifically if some white Christian friends ask us.
If you take a, thank you. If you take a, say, um, uh, any of those books, say, I'm not, take a science book. Mm, let's take a science book, and is that specific to American or Indian? We just have to. I'm just trying. Is it specific to Indian or American or any other country? That person is going to say no, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it's no, because
Okay.
there's nowhere it's referred in any of the science that we studied on mathematics or political side, whatever it may be. A certain country may have a specific law to apply. That is different. But in general, when it comes to science, when it comes to some comes to any of math or any of those subject matter,
Mm.
it's not specific to a country, because there's nowhere it's mentioned there's analytical mathematics is specific to America. It never says anything like that over there. Likewise, similarly in Bhagavad Gita, there's no reference that it says that is specific to it originated from that place. Definitely, it just because anything for that matter have to originate from some place. But just because it's originated from that place, it doesn't make that is only for that particular place, and that is well known throughout the world. That's a rule. Otherwise, Ramanuja, the mathematician Ramanuja, has found so many things about math. It's originated from there. NASA must have originated something on the spaceship and things like that is originated from there. um, Things like that could have originated from there. Does not mean that rather others does not have hands on it or cannot take advantage of those signs mathematics, right? And how many companies have done research and found, Apple have found this touch screen, and for example, the Bell Labs telephone, AT&T, for example, they found this telephone initially in 18 whatever the years are. They found this telephone, right? So now the Verizon is using it, and T-Mobile is using it. You can't just claim that it's only for that because you found it. Everyone is using the technology to enhance it, like that. Likewise, Bhagavad Gita originated from India, definitely, no question about it. But it's never, it says that only Indian should own it. It's Indian religion and it is Indian philosophy. No, it's just not. It's just open for anyone and everyone because the subject is like that. Subject is talks about Atma and body, and everyone in the world is having Atma and having a body. Therefore, where is the question of us just talking about Indian and Indian religion or Hinduism? Nowhere you can find in Bhagavad Gita a specific word. It says, Krishna says that those who are born Aryan, he says, definitely Krishna says you are a Aryan. He says Arya. Arya means one who's not necessarily means that Indian. Aryan means one is very learned, very a scholarly person who knows the subject matter, who's well educated. These are people are called Aryans. So therefore, it's not specifically to India or a Hindu religion, if that helps.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think, yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes when we are in a group and somebody just abruptly says this, whatever points you mentioned did not come to my mind. So, well, thank you. I will keep this in mind during that situation. It was just like in a conversation, this happened. And I said, it's not Indian, but I could not explain as you explained. So that was really helpful to me. So I will just keep this in mind.
Yeah, it originated from India. The language in India, definitely languages in Indian language, those are all there. But then that's always in any field of departments and field that we see. It could originate, it could be in the Greek language or Latin language, but the message can be used in expanding and understanding more others. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Shanta Mataji.
Prabhuji, just a practical question. Say, for example, bath, Prabhu. So, for doing chanting and all, how much important for the bath? Means, suppose if I don't bath, also I start chanting, or I can listen the lectures, or I have to do bath and then only I need to do something.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So this is also similar to yesterday's Sujata's question, Sujata Mataji's question. A similar answer. Chanting Hare Krishna doesn't have any restrictions. Doesn't have any restriction. It's not. It's like when you're chanting a pranava, when you're chanting the Gayatri mantra, when you're chanting the Vedic mantra, Purusha Shukta, Sri Shukta, Nila Shukta, Narayana Shukta, Vishnu Shukta, all the different Shuktas are there. When you're chanting a Shaka from a Vedas, definitely we have to be clean, externally clean, at least externally clean. That has to be needed. But for chanting the holy name of the Lord, it's not necessary to take shower. It's not necessary to take shower. That said, apply the same thing. It is always nice to take shower and chant. Even though it is holy name, it is always nice to take shower, cleanse ourselves, so our mood is also good, our body is also generating some sattvika energy out of it, and we remove all those. When you're sleeping, what happens is things gets produced from our body, certain things get produced from our body, it's on the surface, so we clear all those things off, so that you don't, already we are disturbed, our mind is going everywhere. On top of it, our body doesn't want to create, body is obviously made of three elements, three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. You're just coming out of mode of ignorance, and you want to get away from the mode of ignorance. That is by taking shower, to bring some sattvika, to increase the sattva guna by taking shower. If you want to increase the sattva guna, then obviously you have to cleanse your body, so your chanting becomes much more. We can add little more, some concentration and some discipline and some sattva guna to it. For that reason, it's always nice to take shower and chant. But then to listen to lectures and things like to listen to lecture in the morning, not necessarily you have to take shower. if you're doing online or any of this, not necessary. But it's just how do you want to develop your mode to perceive the sound vibration, whether it's chanting or whether it's listening to lecture. How do you want to perceive? In that mode, if you want to increase the sattva guna, then naturally it's nice to take shower and start any of these spiritual activities.
Thank you, Prabhu. Agreed, Prabhu. But sometimes, I mean, my point is, it is nice to have, but that shouldn't be a blocker for us to stop something listening. Or suppose I wanted to join this meeting, say I haven't done bath, but I have to join by 5 o'clock, right? Maybe I got up just like that, so it's okay. I mean, we'll try our best, but sometimes we are saying it.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. We don't want to join late. So if you have to do that one, that's fine. As you keep doing and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, Krishna will make an availability for us to make time to program our schedule accordingly. In that way, we can come to a next level of how we have to do. But don't worry about it. Just do it. However, whatever works for you at this point, at this stage of your life, just do it. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, it's 5:31 already. All right, very good. Thank you all for joining this morning. We'll again meet tomorrow. Usually on weekends, we have a longer session. We'll go to 6 o'clock. So we'll meet, be prepared. Don't be surprised. So we can have more discussions tomorrow and more readings and more chanting on the weekends. Tomorrow it may be a little different. We'll see how good it goes tomorrow. Thank you. We'll all join again tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.